Hey, everybody. This is my impromptu live discussing the YSL update that I told you guys about for those who checked out my live, my Facebook live today. I don't think I added my Facebook live onto my IG or my TikTok. However, please follow, share, like, subscribe to your girl. All that stuff is down at the bottom. This video is for educational purposes only. I'm just trying to like show some love by enlightening my folks, people that don't really like the news, but want to know what's going on and want to also do more research on their own. So that's what my show is about. I'm not, saying that I'm the all and what is it? The be all end all or whatever they say. But that is not me. But I'm gonna show y'all this real quick. So I'm giving y'all some hearts right now for those that have subscribed to me. I totally appreciate it. I see the numbers rising and I thank my people from overseas that I check my analytics. I have some international people now, so I totally appreciate that. And I'm not where I want to be, of course, but honestly, I love what I'm doing. I love the content creating and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to stick with it, whether it's 5 subscribers or 2 or 50. That's just how I feel because this is something that I'm passionate about. So I just hope that you guys that is starting this journey with me continue with me. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get to it. But first, I am streaming on IG and I am on Facebook and I am on YouTube tonight. So I'll take a look and, see what's going on with that a little bit later, see if anybody, because like I said, this is impromptu. This was not scheduled. So maybe some people will come on, maybe not, but either or, I'm going to get this info out because I do know people always rewatch. Okay. All right. So, as I was discussing, there are some Rico laws that, and shout out to Ceddy Nash and happy birthday to Yak Gotti. That was my thumbnail showing Yak Gotti some love today because today is his birthday and it looked like he threw up a heart to his fans or his family or whoever while he was in court, and he had that bomb signature Dior blazer on. He looks nice today, so that was dope. Okay, so yeah, shout out to Yak Gotti. And now we're going to, let me add this to the screen. Let's see. And let's see here. Let me go to
retirees. If you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10
hey, don't be judging me. I don't have premium.
Fit into the standard definition of a crime.
Hold on. Okay, so this is Ceddy Nash. For those who don't know, we're going to go, you know what? Let's actually just go here and take a look at his video. Ceddy Nash he called himself the hood attorney. And I won't lie, he actually has a great following, and he does good work. He's been fair throughout the trial, kind of, and of course, there's going to be people on the different sides that don't like that. Those who are, YSL fans not feeling it, those who are for the prosecutor not feeling it. But I do like the fact that most of the time he has been fair. And I just want you guys to make sure that y'all subscribed. And you know what? Let me make sure I like this for him. But yeah, go subscribe to him. And if you have been interested in the YSL trial, take a look at some of the things, some of the back things, some of the things now. But he does a lot of going out talking to a lot of different artists, rappers, people in the hood, all that different type of stuff. So he's been pretty solid during this situation. All right, so we're gonna go ahead.
Your proposals, contracts, invoices, and payments all in one place. My name is Laura Gomez, and
Okay, I'm gonna get premium again. I ain't gonna lie, because I do not like this right here.
The day, because the way that she just made history and dropped a bombshell, bruh. Now, I don't change my mind on what I said about some previous, but I'll let y'all in on that. Doug Weinstein got up. We all like Doug over here. It made a case basically for charges to be dropped, because that is the discretion of the judge to do. Matt Sharp made charges to be dropped, but we just gonna spoil it. He doesn't get the charges dropped, so we're not gonna bring it up, because this would make this video about an hour and a half long, and I know y'all don't want that. So let's get on with Dougie Fresh and basically get to what he was trying to do to break it down, Charlie Brown.
He does.
Okay, for those who do not know, Doug Weinstein is Yak Gotti's attorney. And once again, shout out to Yak Gotti. Today is his birthday. And he was the one who had just came from California in the day, I think that same day maybe, Thug's house got raided while he was there. So he just got 3 charges dropped, I do believe, but let's check it out.
And we are moving for a directed verdict on each of the counts against Mr. Kendrick, counts 1, 2, 50, and 57 through 63. And I'll go through each of those in order.
All right.
We're also moving for a directed verdict as to those overt acts that are before the 5-year date, before May 10th of 2017 in the indictment. Based on where we're looking at the jury instructions and the law, my understanding is that the jury is going to have to find at least one overt act that occurred after May 10th of 2017.
Right.
So I believe it would just be extra work for the jury and potential confusion if they were to sit there and go through each of the overt acts before May 10th, 2017. I understand that the state is allowed to put those into the indictment for a number of reasons. I understand that they like them in, or they want them in there in order to be able to quote unquote tell the whole story of the alleged racketeering activity. But since none of those overt acts can be used to support any racketeering conviction, I don't believe that those overt acts prior to May 10th, 2017 should be before the jury for a decision. As to just turning to the details of the different counts, as to count 1, Your Honor, the Rico count, in that situation, in that count, I don't believe the state has shown evidence upon which a rational trier of fact could find an overarching conspiracy seeking to achieve an overall common goal as required by the law. The state has shown a number, quite a few, I would agree, a number of individual acts they've presented. They have presented a number of crimes and alleged crimes committed by co-conspirators. But I do not believe that they have presented to this jury any form of an overarching conspiracy that would tie those acts together. The second part, I don't believe that the state has presented to the jury an enterprise that would be required, at least a criminal enterprise. I do appreciate that perhaps they don't have to show that the enterprise was criminal in nature. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I don't want to take up the court's time. I have some things in my written motion. Third, a pattern of racketeering activity is required for the RICO. This pattern, as you know, requires two predicate acts. They have to be within 4 years of each other. And the key that I want to focus on is that these acts have to be interrelated. And it's the interrelated portion of the statute that the state has not shown for the jury, and that a rational trier of fact could not find. Again, after watching this trial for a year, it's clear that the state has put on evidence of various crimes and alleged crimes. They've put on witnesses. They've had testimony from individuals that are alleged members of this conspiracy that have taken the stand and admitted to committing particular crimes. But they haven't shown at all that these crimes are interrelated. In fact,
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. But as I was saying, I just wanted to stop it right there to say that I totally agree with Doug that these crimes are not interrelated and they should not be a part of any type of racketeering situation, a Rico situation, because firstly, they're all different situations and they couldn't cohesively put anything together to even make it look like that. So I totally agree with that. And I do want to say shout out to Buttergood Music. What is going on? Are you saying hi to me and saying what is going on, or are you asking what is going on? This is about the YSL, the YSL trial, because pretty much the state has just rested. Now they're going through the jury charges and the different things like that to see what they're going to put in front of the jury for the jury to say guilty or not guilty. And the state is still trying to say that a lot of these charges, and it's only 2 men now, that the ones that standing on business, the last 2, and they're trying to pretty much put as many counts on them, charges on them, since they don't really have any more men. They everybody play it. Everybody took plea deals or whatever. So that's what they're doing. But we're gonna go into Georgia's Rico law, because come to find out, it's a lot going on with that. So that's what we're about to get to. But right now he's just discussing his client, and he was able to get 3 charges dropped. And the judge is about to say that now. But thank you so much. I appreciate you for showing interest. Okay, I'm about to go back now. Let me get back on here.
When the witnesses have taken the stand and they've been questioned, in response to questioning, they stated, I would say universally, I mean, it's been a year, so I don't know that I have everything in my head, but I believe they stated universally that they committed these crimes for themselves. If they sold drugs at a gas station, it was to get money for themselves. If they robbed somebody, it was to get money for themselves. There's been no demonstration that this was interrelated at all. There's been no demonstration, for example, of money flowing up and down the organization, and they could have attempted to show that. They could have subpoenaed financial records. They didn't do any of that. It's as if the state believes if they just show a tremendous number, and I guess we have close to 200 acts, if they just show a tremendous number of different acts, that's sufficient. And it simply is not sufficient. They can try to argue interrelatedness, and I am sure that they will, but they haven't demonstrated that for the jury such that a rational trier of fact could find the interrelatedness that's required for those predicate acts. Regarding count 2, the murder of Donovan Thomas, again, it's been a year. I could be leaving things out, but from when I have looked over the evidence that's been presented in this court, what I have seen them present, the state present, is Mr. Kendrick at a Texaco station inside of a Pontiac. And inside of the Texaco station, this Texaco station is a block from the location of the murder of Mr. Thomas. And they show Mr. Kendrick in and out of the Pontiac. They show him in a conversation with someone that may be in an Infiniti. But when Mr. Kendrick leaves the gas station, he's in a Pontiac. There's been no testimony at all, nothing, no video, no evidence that Mr. Kendrick somehow moves from the Pontiac into the Infiniti. And the Infiniti is what is alleged to have done the drive-by shooting of Donovan Thomas. There's been testimony from the state's own witnesses. I believe they presented an Infiniti identification expert that was able to identify the car that goes by as an Infiniti. It is not a Pontiac. Mr. Kendrick is not in anything other than a Pontiac.
Okay, so in this part right here, what he's saying is, because the entire time, for those who don't know, Donovan Thomas is one of the men who got murdered in front of the barbershop, and they are trying to say that Yak Gotti, Kendrick, was one of the ones that was in the Infiniti, but he was in a Pontiac. And the Pontiac actually was a block or 2 away from the murder. and they were seen in the gas station. So they're trying to say because they had beef with Donovan Thomas gang that they actually did this. And I think Shannon was on this murder rap too. That's why them two are the last ones standing when it comes to this. But they don't really have any evidence at all. So with that being said, we're going to go now. That's what I wanted you guys to hear. Now we're going to go to him breaking down the Rico statute.
We couldn't figure out what the hell, just because you had a photo of you being there a day prior and then you probably walking up, because they never say really that they found him in the house the day that they came. They said the photo is from the day before. And then next thing you know, hey, he shows up, but he's not in the house, so he runs. Bro, listen, I run when I see the police all the time. I ain't did a crime in ever. I've never committed a crime in my life, but I still run when I see the police. So it is what it is on that one. So Paige came out and she said this.
Prior of fact. And the standard, as you all know, for a motion for directed verdict is not the beyond a reasonable doubt standard, that what the jury is going to be determining the facts on when the case is given to them. The standard at the stage of motion for directed verdict is that all of the evidence is to be viewed in the light that is most favorable to the prosecution. And doing it in that way, looking at it in that way, is there any evidence from which a rational trier of fact could find the essential elements of the crimes they're charged? So with regard to the motion for directed verdict on counts 1, 2, trying to do these in order. So let me just do it this way. I am denying the motion for directed verdict on all counts except I'm granting a motion for directed verdict as to count 59, count 60, and count 62. I do not believe that the elements of that, even viewing in the light most favorable to the prosecution, there's evidence upon which a rational trier of fact could find the essential elements of possession of those particular items. And let me say that with regard to counts 2 and 49, again, is not a beyond a reasonable doubt standard.
Now, it would have been even bigger if he would have got acquitted of the murder of Donovan Thomas, but all it is hearsay. Like, it's no actual evidence and all of that crap and everything like that. The only problem, and I don't know if this would qualify as burden shifting, but they never produced anything to say where the hell Diamante Kendricks was anyways, but I don't believe that he had anything to do with it, because even Doug pointed out, like, hey, bro, he wasn't even in the car. He sat in the Bonneville the whole time. The whole freaking time. Now, here's the crazier part. 2 of the witnesses said they seen a Bonneville. But the state is so hard-pressed on the damn, I can't even remember what that car is. The Audi, that they might have messed it up.
Infinity.
Either way that goes, bro, I don't see none of them cats basically facing the murder charges now. The gun stuff, the drug stuff, and everything like that. I just don't feel good about it for Shannon Bumpus. Is that what we call him now? Shannon Jackson, Caleb Bumpus, Shannon Jackson, Stillwell Bumpus. I don't know. I'm staying out of it. That'll be the last stuff I say about that, because over there, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I like Caleb Bumpus. She cool to me. She good over here. Miss Sylvia's good over here. Whomever in which all these people are beefing with, I ain't got no problems with nobody. I'm peaceful Ivan over here. So the little jokes and stuff like that, trust me, Kayla, no, we good. But other than that, I'm not gonna be making anything about it, because in all candor, it really don't matter. Is it messy? Yeah. Is it funny? Yeah. Is it entertainment? Yeah. that me and Doug had talked about, but neither one of us could absolutely make this statement so eloquently and so succinct and so damn powerful and shocking. Check this out. This is from ALMlaw.com, Daily Report, right? Robert Wilson, Manu Birmani, Aurora, and Jennifer Hyman of Aurora Law in Atlanta. Check this out. This is commentary, but this is exactly the crap that we're talking about. The metamorphosis of the Georgia RICO statute. Check this out. Although RICO was created in response to organized crime, the Georgia RICO statute is far more expansive. This means that prosecutors can bring RICO charges against any corrupt criminal enterprise. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Over the past few years in Georgia, the prosecutor's crime du jour has become the RICO statute, Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. RICO allows the state to charge and convict people under novel theories for acts that may not fit into the standard definition of a crime. Think about that. That is dangerous. They said, we just got a theory on it and we can get you. These cases often spark debate over whether the activity was in fact a crime or simply immoral. Congress passed federal RICO in 1970, and Georgia followed suit, passing its own RICO statute in 1980. The impetus of the RICO legislation was to tackle organized crime. Prior to RICO, the problem prosecutors faced in fighting organized crime was that those in command of the organization could shield themselves from liability since they never did the dirty work. Although RICO was created in response to organized crime, the Georgia RICO statute is far more expansive. This means that prosecutors can bring RICO charges against any corrupt criminal enterprise. Historically, this definition of enterprise included organized crime or street gangs, However, enterprise has now been stretched to incorporate businesses, school teachers, churches, political protesters, and even a sole proprietorship. In fact,
how are they going to do RICO cases on churches, school teachers, protesters, sole proprietors? Like, okay, we'll continue.
The definition of enterprise goes even further to ensnare groups of people who have never met one another but can be charged as if they had committed the crime together. Remember when I told y'all Lil Rod never even met or knew Young Thug? There you go. The state, in its discretion, can group almost any collection of people into a criminal enterprise. People need not have ever met or even have known of one another's existence. In fact, a person's completely legal and mundane actions can form the basis for a RICO charge as long as another member commits 2 or more predicate crimes. In other words, a person does not need to have done anything wrong or illegal to be a part of RICO conspiracy. Think about what the hell I just said. In other words, a person does not need to have done anything wrong or illegal to be part of RICO conspiracy. All that is necessary is that their actions furthered the same overarching goals as those who actually committed the crime. Trying to determine what kind of conduct constitutes the crime of RICO seems to be only limited by the state's theater of mind. What?
That's crazy.
Some crimes need no explanation, e.g., murder, the R word, theft. RICO, on the other hand, is far less intrusive. RICO requires the commission of 2 predicate crimes in some organized way, aka pattern, or the pattern, for a common purpose. If that wasn't convoluted enough, the Georgia RICO Act is referenced across 12 definitions for many of its terms. What does means mean? While RICO has been on the books for decades, the state's love affair with the statute is a relatively recent phenomenon. Not only does RICO not have any clearly defined legal guardrails, it actually allows the state to admit what would be deemed irrelevant evidence in most criminal cases. These issues make RICO ripe for creative and novel interpretation, aka rap lyrics, social media posts, clothing. This isn't in the freaking words that I'm reading, but I'm just reminding you guys of all of the things. Slang words, slang terminology.
And just to say to piggyback off what he's saying, this is what this trial have been founded on. It's been based and founded on social media, rap lyrics, the type of clothes they wear, tattoos, if they lived in the same neighborhoods, and the little Rico, who he was, I mean little Rob, I said little Rico, but little Rob, his situation, like he said, he didn't know Young Thug or any of that. He lived in the neighborhood and he committed a murder, and he is part of the Rico. So it's like, this is crazy.
That arching ring a bell? These issues make Rico ripe for creative and novel interpretation. Historically, vagueness in the statute benefits an accused. However, with the Rico, the state uses the vagueness as a sword to charge people because Rico doesn't say we can't do it. The legislators that drafted Rico intended for it to apply only to actively motivated by pecuniary gain or economic or physical threat or injury. However, the state routinely argues that this language does not limit its discretion. They boldly argue that the only limit of who can be ensnared in Rico's clutches is based on the state's discretion. The state claims the line is fluid. Much like, I can't say that, but corn, they will know it when they see it. Until we get a high court ruling about Rico's reach, there's nothing stopping eager prosecutors from charging as they and only they see fit. Until we have the clarity about who can get swept into Rico, heed your mother's advice. Be careful who your friends and associates are. Yeah, that's insane.
That's crazy work. That means that however they want to spin the cases, they can spin it their way, and the court favors the prosecutors. So keep that in mind. The court favors the prosecutors, and they can spin it and do what they want to do, as they've been doing with this trial and case. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like they put this under the RICO Act, even though they're saying it's because of the gang. YSL is a gang and this, that, and the other. And that's what they, trying to prove that they're a criminal enterprise and Young Thug was the leader and this, that, and the other. But they really, after the wiretaps, after the conversations they've been hearing, after all of this, they had noticed that Thug was about his music, and he connected with a lot of the men. There was, most of the men are artists, or he gave them positions, and some of them ruined them. So he distanced himself from them. And the majority of those are the ones who came out and actually testified or whatever against him and all of that. But this is really crazy that because of the fact that there's no strict law, or there's no written rules to RICO, the prosecutors have decided to do whatever they want, when it really was specifically for created for back in the day, John Gotti and the racketeering situation like that. And now they're trying to expand it for them to do whatever they want, and just everyday folks can be charged with RICO. And even if it's two people that don't know each other, but there's a common cause there. That's crazy to me. Okay. And that was what I wanted you guys to see, but let's see what else he was talking about, because I didn't get to the rest of the video, honestly. So we can kind of see what else he's discussing about this.
That's insane. Do y'all realize you could be hit with a RICO and didn't even know it? This basically like this. Let's say, fellas, you got yourself a very beautiful woman. Ladies, you got yourself a very beautiful man. And literally, they ain't got no job or no anything. But what they ask you one day is, hey, you think you can give me like $250? And you don't say anything. You just, boom, give it to them. And then they come back and they say, here you go. Here's your $250 back. All right. Then a month goes by and they do it again. But they say this time, hey, you know what? Before I gave you $250, I'm going to give you $500. And you're just like, dang, thank you. You just became a part of Rico. That person, your beautiful person, was out there selling drugs. You had no idea. Zero idea. Do you know that that's what they can do? It's absolutely insane. Bruh, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, stopping any freaking prosecutor in Georgia from doing this. I counted 7 times up until, because there was this group of people. The last time the Georgia Rico was used was against this Stop Cop City. I think it was like 82 people indicted, or 62 or 28. But I want to say it's 82 people that got indicted for it under Rico. Yeah. Now, listen, we ain't anti-cops. We ain't pro-cops and anything like that. I believe wholeheartedly that nobody likes the police. Just going to be honest with you. I thought defund the police was an amazing thing. And then you just found out how much people despise the police, because defund the police literally meant cut up the money that is divvied to the police officers, because a cop should not be responsible for half the stuff that they get called for, like mental stuff. And then some of you morons, because it's only like this many, some of you morons that are trolls who get on here and say, well, what about when the people who are mentally unstable, what are they like 6'3" and 300 pounds? You don't think people in the institutions are already handling those individuals? You think that this is novelty, that this is a first time? No. You do not need the police called when y'all can't figure it out with who needs to be with who during a civil dispute over children. Yeah, the police don't need to be called for everything. There needs to be a division. When you morons get gypped out of your money because you needed an extra patty and extra cheese on your goddamn triple cheese sandwich, but you only got a double cheese sandwich. Okay, that was me. My bad. Cops, I'm sorry for calling you on that one. My bad. My fault. My fault, Sheriff. But either way it goes, the cops don't need to be used for everything. You need different divisions of police, just the same way that we got the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, and all of this crap. Well,
let me stop right there. I'm gonna keep that 100. He's 100 with that. I totally have been saying that. I totally agree. Shout out to my boy Jesse Revis. What up, though, Big Jess? Thank you so much for joining on IG. I appreciate you. Shout out to my cousin Natisha. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you out there on Facebook. So yeah, I do totally agree with the police should not be called for everything. There should be different divisions, just like it's FBI, CIA, ATF, we can go down GBI and whatever. There should be different divisions for different situations, and there should be more mental health inspectors, or different people that similar to the police and have some type of authority like the police, but have more compassion and understand people a little bit better than the police, if that makes sense. Okay, because right now I ain't feeling none of this. All right, but we just gonna listen a little bit more.
Well, yeah, then I diverge. I continue on. So the reason why I dropped that is because these next 2 clips, I probably only play one, is highly important, because what they are trying to argue, and even Paige Reese Whitaker had to come out and say, hey, y'all, I never even tried a Rico. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Only 7 other judges have in Georgia history since they adopted it in the 80s.
Get input from y'all. I don't know.
Well, that might work.
Okay, now I'm going to say this. This is a problem because of the fact that this is such a highlighted trial. This is one of the longest running trials in America. The YSL trial is now one of the longest running trials, and it is super high profile. People thought that when young Thug got off the stand that the viewership was going to disappear, but because of the fact at how crooked and how messed up Georgia is when it comes to the like the system, the judicial system, and the different things like that. People was interested and wanted all over the country wanted to see this through the end. So it'd be like within 20 minutes, it's like over 50,000 people already waiting for the trial to start. Do you understand? It'd be like over 400,000 people on Law and Crime waiting, I mean not waiting, but watching these two men who standing on business to continue and finish. And now that we're at the bitter end, people, it's even more and more people because they can't understand this Rico law that Georgia has. It's really ridiculous. So we're going to see the judge discuss that she never had I guess it's only seven judges that have done a Rico. So she never have done a Rico before in this highly not sought after, but this high viewership trial that everybody see. I know this got to be frustrating for her, but I hope that she make the right decisions.
I mean, my concern when I read this was I thought we were back to the point where we were looking at a list that just tracked every overt act in the indictment. And I can see a lot of reasons why that could cause problems.
So it could either be you must unanimously determine which interrelated types or acts, that one's still up for debate, of racketeering activity the defendant agreed would be committed, and then have them listed, or that interrelated types of racketeering activity would be defendant.
I think all they have to decide is that they contemplated committing interrelated acts of racketeering activity.
Well, they agreed to, not they contemplated it. You could contemplate it and reject it.
Fair enough. Okay. But that's really the question before the jury is, did the agreement contemplate what would ultimately have become a substantive violation? I'm very concerned about using the word acts because you can see how they could get all hung up on that. And that's not really what the conspiracy law requires the jury to determine is the specific acts. That's what we talked about yesterday. The federal case I cited to you, they all say they don't have to determine which specific acts were contemplated, only the types.
But even those federal cases say that the jury has to be unanimous on the types of acts that were committed. You'd agree with that, correct?
Whatever the jury's deciding, they have to be unanimous. I agree with that.
And
All right,
unanimous on the types
don't
of
talk
acts.
to each other. Got to
I'm
talk
sorry.
through me. That's just how it works in court. You know that. I know you didn't mean anything by it, but
I
it
always enjoy
sometimes
discussions.
devolves. I don't think it would with this particular crowd we have right now. But
Anyway, Your Honor,
yes,
I believe that the federal cases that Mr. Floyd cites would require the jury to be unanimous
Yeah.
in the types of racketeering activity, and I think it would be necessary for them to indicate which are the types on their verdict form.
I don't think it's required.
Well,
trying to
shall we
figure
say
out-
helpful? I'm trying to also contemplate if there is, as Mr. Steele might say, God forbid, a guilty verdict in this case, and an appellate court is reviewing, I think without some tiny level of, I even hesitate to call this detail because it's so high level, but some guidance on the basis for the jury's verdict, that it would be difficult to review. And also we would want to ensure that they are unanimous on the type. So if they indicate the type, that would ensure that.
But, here's my side, or the jury doesn't think, oh, they decided they would murder all. Let's say they think they decided, we're just going to hassle Lucci in any way possible. So we're going to steal things from Lucci. We're going to stab Lucci's mama. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. Those are different types of racketeering activity with the same victim. So it doesn't have to be the same type. And
That's correct.
so that's the wrong word to say.
And it's the one that crept into the case law, but I think.
Yeah, it's
correct.
wrong. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of like thinking through this as we do this, because I've never done a RICO case before as a judge.
And I've never done one that didn't have a new issue pop up that I never thought of
Right.
before.
But
as Mr. Floyd says, that is the language, as unfortunate as it may be.
well, I'm not going to, I
the
don't care
case
if
law.
language is in a case. If it's wrong as law, I'm not going to use it.
Your Honor, to follow up on the point you just made, well, in this case,
Yeah.
what we are really talking about with this enterprise, with this criminal street gang, is an open-ended conspiracy, because they're going to do what they decide to do. And once you're in, you're basically agreeing that you're going to do what that enterprise is going to do. As long as these are things that such an organization might accomplish when you sign up for it. And this is what, when you look at the older U.S. Supreme Court cases, one that sort of states the bedrock principles, like Pinkerton, for example, basically says, you sign up in a criminal endeavor, you're on the hook for whatever follows from that. The solution to that is not to sign up for it, is not to become joined into it. And in a gang like this, an organization like this, sort of one of the fundamental tenets is acts of violence and threats of violence against those you perceive as your opposition or competition. That's the path. The real question is, are you agreeing to join in an organization that does those things?
But it's
And that you or somebody in that organization would do them.
Well, right, yes, but that's my point.
Well, I mean,
is
that's the
within
rub.
That's within the contemplation. I mean, when you're joining up, those things have already happened. You already know this is what this organization does. It's not like you joined the Boy Scouts and you found out that they're engaged in acts of terrorism. It's like joining a terrorist organization and finding out they're engaged in acts of terrorism. This language that we have here is getting at the point, which is, do they contemplate interrelated acts of racketeering activity will occur?
and we do.
And I guess we've already said it up above. If we're not going to say what was it, then we've said the state must prove the defendant knowingly and willfully agreed to join a conspiracy, understanding that one of them would commit at least 2 interrelated acts of racketeering activity within 4 years of each other to do one of these 2 purposes.
And in Georgia law, with the statutory definition, you pick up the same types in there. I mean, it's
Okay, now you heard what she said. She was saying pretty much universally, if you know about this situation and you decide to join, then yeah. But what Georgia RICO law is, like Ceddy Nash was stating earlier, if you don't know, but you lend somebody some money and they go hustle and then they come and they give you your money back that they borrowed and they give you more money than they got at first, you now a part of that situation. So Georgia, you don't have to know to that level is what I'm picking up. We'll continue.
it's kind of baked into the definition that you've already got in the instructions.
But we're in a situation where, and I understand it, where the state does not want the jury to go through and say, we find this act, we find this act, we find this act. And that's the same thing that happened in these federal cases where there was an argument you shouldn't have to find specific acts. And I think that's why the federal courts have gone to, okay, fine, you don't want us to look at these, to have the jury identify specific acts, but they do need to identify, I guess they went one level up to types of acts that occurred.
Well,
But was that a conspiracy case? I mean, as long as I'm saying you have to be, I'm sorry, that you have to be unanimous that they proved all these things.
Go ahead, Mr.
And also, you hear that the judge continuously wants it to be unanimous. that is how she is ruling. She wants it to be unanimous. But with Georgia RICO law, the way that I think they were talking, and not on this video, but another video, because the man that's standing up that is with the prosecutors, further to the left, he I don't believe he wants the language of unanimous or anything that makes it sound like the jury has an option. And that is what I think they were discussing today, but this is not today's clip. But I'm going to go some more and see.
The cases that I was talking about yesterday, those aren't verdict form cases. That's where the request was that the jury be asked to fill out a form that went through every single one of them. And they said no, and the jury was instructed on types, not that the jury filled out a form on types. We don't want to it's not I don't want us to back into giving them an essay question. That's not what we ask juries to do. Juries say yes, no. And if we kind of open it up for them to express themselves, I think we're asking for trouble. There's a good reason why.
And again, I'm not requesting a essay from the jury. I just think that having them identify what is the type of activity that they have found, or I mean, it's not my preferred outcome, but some form of check the box, as the state may have indicated, perhaps just some guidance more than yes or no. And I appreciate that that's what the state would prefer.
Do y'all know that technically, I forget what dude's name is, but technically he's right. Just by thinking about a Rico with somebody, that's the conspiracy.
And that's crazy. That's really crazy.
Bruh, it's so doggone crazy that even when she admitted it and all that stuff, she basically was like, nah, hold on, homie. And this is where I think all of you guys are going to like Paige Reese Whitaker, because technically she was not supposed to agree with that. She was actually supposed to say, yeah, according to Rico, yeah, you can, just by thinking about it with somebody else and you guys conversing about it, that, yeah, that's going to screw over everybody. And I'm listening like, damn. So this is what's going on? Bruh, this is very, very poisonous. Y'all worried about so many individuals. And please, all you people, I'm not political at all. I told y'all who I would have voted for, or who I thought would have won, but I stay in a red state, so it really didn't matter who I voted for, because none of y'all, well, I won't say none of y'all, that's a big lie. A small minority of y'all don't understand how the electoral college goes. So me staying in a red state that does not vote for anybody but Republican didn't really matter. So my local politics matter, and don't worry about it, because I don't bring up religion, race, or politics on my channel like that. I do sometimes, but some things be pissing me off. But either way, bro, that Rico statue is insane. And by her standing up, y'all got to give it up to Paige Reese Whitaker, because, bruh, Paige, she basically put on a Superman cape and said, hey, I'm standing in the way of what's wrong and stopping it right here. She said basically, bruh, hey, if it's wrong, it's wrong. And she's technically wrong according to Rico. So my theory that I told y'all in the beginning is, if the state does not get what they want as far as verdicts go, they're going to appeal the decision. I damn near guarantee it, because they have the right to, according to Georgia Rico. And
I agree with that. So listen to what he's saying real fast.
I know there's going to be some people on it. Well, that means you just want the state to win. No. Facts over feelings. That's what the Georgia freaking Rico is, where things cannot even make it in a regular doggone trial. And we all, including myself, was throwing up middle fingers to Judge Earl Glanville, the Honorable Chief Justice Judge Earl Glanville. He was actually right the whole doggone time. by permitting a bunch of BS. He has created case law. Paige Reese Whitaker, in the closing statements and stuff that she did today, has now created case law. And it's wild because we are now getting educated on stuff we never even knew could possibly affect us. And I would even say, damn it, y'all better be aware out there in Georgia, bruh. If y'all committing crimes and all that crap, bruh, and you got homies and y'all think y'all some hustlers and y'all competing against each other, y'all ain't even organized or nothing like that, y'all committing RICO and don't even know it. So if you're doing anything illegal, you can be charged with a RICO and a mandatory 5, a maximum of 20. Understand that. Remember when we did the freaking reading when Judge Whitaker was doing her reading of the sentencing and all that? And you just see me calling out 5 to 20, 3 to 7, whatever to whatever, and all of this stuff. And we were sitting up there like, damn. But ultimately, I think Diamante Kendrick gets time served, gets some probation. But I hope not, bro. Like, I truly, truly hope not. And the worst part about it is I thought we were going to get a verdict by Wednesday. I kept pushing it back because.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna stop this right here. We good with Ceddy Nash, but I do want to say, y'all go and check out Ceddy Nash. Okay, on YouTube, he has over he's close to 300,000 subscribers. So and he's the hood attorney. As y'all can hear, he's the hood attorney. Shout out to Hazel Made It _beats. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you out there, bro. Thank you so much. Let's see here. So it's been a lot of case law made since they started the jury charges and all of that. And I'm happy to see that a lot of people, especially people of color, is watching this trial to learn, like me, because it is so important to see how crooked, and not even this, because know that I'm going to make a video about Rice Street that is viral now about the press conference they just had about that prison. That jail, right? Which a lot of the YSL members were locked up in Rice Street, and Shannon Stillwell and Yak is in Rice Street. So definitely going to discuss that. And that's where Lucci also got stabbed in Rice Street. But so that went viral about that whole situation in Georgia. That's it's so crazy. Then we got the Rico, Georgia law that y'all just heard from Ceddy Nash as he read law.com and that information. And then you heard the Judge Whitaker. She never tried a RICO case, but she is not letting a lot of stuff through. As far as the RICO situation, she don't care what they say. She's like, I want the jury to vote unanimously. And it's so many different holes in the RICO case, the RICO statutes, that they're trying to bring that into this trial, into like the jury charges that they're putting together. And she's denying it because of the fact that she's going by the law. And because of the fact that Georgia RICO laws are fluid. Now that's going to be some type of they really have been having a lot of what I want to say challenges with that, because she's been pushing back a lot. Even today, she was pushing back, which we'll discuss that another day. But this video is from yesterday. With Ceddy Nash that I just showed, because we solely was talking about RICO, the RICO laws in Georgia. So this may help Shannon Stillwell and for sure Yak Gotti, because of the fact that Yak really, his sentencing was light, but that murder charge, that's the only thing really that's hanging him up. But he really does not have any, he like, honestly, because of the Rico laws in Georgia, he still could be, he still could go to prison for the murder, even if he did not commit it, or even if they don't have any evidence, only because of the fact that he was in the vicinity of the murder during that time, and he was with some of the YSL members when they went to the gas station. That is what Ceddy Nash is trying to say. So these men still, even if they didn't do it, even if the state does not have full knowledge and like seeing them red-handed or anything, these men still can get tried for these murders and go to prison, even if they are, just because of the fact that they are part of YSL. So that's how they were trying to tie this whole case up. And Judge Whitaker is not going for that. She wants evidence to be shown. She wants she's throughout this whole trial, I will say, she since she became the judge, she's been serious about being fair with certain things. Yeah, she leans toward the state, you know, on some things, but that's because majority of the judges are. But she also have been sincerely fair about things, like how she's pushing back with this Rico situation. And just like he said, the state is going to appeal this. You know why? One is because they just let so many men walk, and now the people, the victims' families, is going to have some issues with that. They had all these plea deals. They had indictments, not indictments, what is it, y'all know what I'm talking about, is what is that Woody had? I forgot what it was that he's under, but whatever it is, you know, he could pretty much say whatever, and he, you know, immunity. So they gave, and then people keep saying, people that I know in Georgia is like they gave the wrong people immunity. So I'm like, wow, because just so you know, I used to live in Atlanta for a very long time, and it's like 6 or 7 degrees of separation with some of these people. As far as me knowing some people that know some people that know some people. So have been in contact with them. And, you know, some of them are like, man, it's crazy how ghetto, you know, of course, the police are, the probation officers, just a lot of different shady stuff that's happening, on top of how they trying to railroad Thug. Okay. And it's all been about money. From what I hear, it's all been about money. So this is crazy. Yeah, so guys, you know, I'm going to continue to, through it all, give my impromptu lives, my YSL updates. If you want to see some of them, I do it on Facebook. I do have a couple on my IG page. Shout out to Shy Shock Me. What's up, girlfriend? Thank you so much for joining. But I do it on Facebook because I have a large viewership on there of people that actually watches the trial or kind of is up on it. So that's where I have more engagement when it comes to talking about the YSL trial. But guys, once again, thank you so much. And also, Lights Camera Action will be the reaction channel, Fresh and Friends reaction channel on YouTube will be showing Lights Camera Action with Chenny McGee at 7:30 tomorrow. He's an actor and producer. You know, we got for this month and next month, we got a lot of actors and actresses and people that's in the behind the scenes. We got them booked up for us to be able to have conversation with them, and for people that is interested in getting in the game or learning, they're dropping jewels. So pick up what they putting down. And I'm still out there kind of conversing with some people to get people on the show for next year. But this is a new thing where I'm going to be showing love to people that's behind the scenes in the media and also in music and different things like that, and giving them some spotlight and to help other people that's trying to get out there, you know, to learn how to go about, you know, fulfilling their dreams and destinies, and, you know, trying to go ahead and get some purpose going on and get in the game and be inspired. All right, guys. Thank you once again. You guys have a good night. Love y'all and mean it. And I'll holler at y'all next time. Later.
I just wanna sing my song. I ain't felt free in so long. Take these shackles off me. The world's trying to weigh me down, and I know this is how the story goes. Love and peace in a world so cold.